Welcome back to the Domestique Cycling Podcast. This weekend, the European Road Championships head to the Drôme-Ardèche region in France. The course is pretty brutal with 202.5 kilometers. It starts in Privas with the Col du Moulin avant, straight out of the blocks, before 3 laps that feature the brutal Saint-Romain-de-l'Or and the steep ramps of the Val d'Enfer. Then in the finale, 3 smaller laps bring more climbs, including another load of the Val d'Enfer and the Montée de Costebelle. Long-range climbers and explosive punchers will both have their say, and what a start list we have for it. Fresh off the World Championships in Kigali, Tadej Pogačar starts probably as the main favorite, but Remco Evenepoel, runner-up there, despite some bad luck or frustration, will want revenge. Jonas Vingegaard arrives fresher than both, having skipped the Worlds, and makes his debut in the Danish jersey. Add in the likes of Skjelmose, Ayuso, Grégoire, even Pedersen, Hirschi, Almeida. This could be the most competitive European Championship we've ever seen. We'll break down the parcours, the favorites, and the tactical battles to expect on Sunday. And to do that, I am joined by Ethan, the Domestique editor. Welcome.
Hello, Bram. It's good to be back again. I mean, last week was a bit of a whirlwind of cycling with how much cycling was on from the juniors, the under-23s, the men and women, obviously. And yeah, it was good fun, wasn't it? The Rwandan Championships.
Yeah. How do you enjoy them?
I enjoyed the women's the most, the women's elite actually, due to the element of surprise, because everyone in the men's race knew Pogačar was going to win. Well, I don't think we did last week, did we? Me and you. I think Dan maybe said it. When the women, wow, it was end to end, wasn't it? Really, in like a football kind of way. Like everything happened.
Yeah, the women's race is definitely the most exciting to watch, but at times also the most confusing, especially from the point of the favorites.
Yeah, you sit there scratching your head.
But then again, no race radios. There's a lot more hesitation, and nobody wants to spend their own energy when they can avoid it. So it just kind of evolves into a stalemate. But that's also the beauty of this type of cycling. Super unpredictable. Unpredictable winner, I would say. I don't think there were many people who had put money on her.
No one, probably, definitely no one.
And if someone did, they're very wealthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an incredible race. And for the men's, I mean, I think, Pogačar winning, it was pretty expected. Although you had predicted that Remco Evenepoel would win. And
well, I mean, we kind of
jinxed him.
We looked smart, didn't we? And the Bramcos reversed this time. Well, Evenepoel.
You cursed his bike, his saddle. You did something to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Oh, because if he won, your propaganda machine wouldn't have stopped.
Well, it's not going to stop today.
It's like if puts and maybes, isn't it? If that didn't happen, then who knows what happens. But Pogačar, the attack from that far out on the Mont Kigali, then to drop everyone, including Del Toro and Ayuso. That was fun to see, wasn't it? Del Toro and Ayuso battling after the internal civil war kind of thing, what people make out.
Yeah, I was watching it with my parents, and I was saying, it's 3 from the same team, but riding for different countries. It's going to be really interesting. And then, but they all then must really like each other. That's not how it works.
Pogačar and Del Toro, yeah. I mean, then Ayuso
Pogačar and Del Toro, they're all right, but I don't think Del Toro and Ayuso are going to be amazing friends after what happened at Giro. So yeah, just seeing them kind of slug at each other in the brief time that they were together, or at least Del Toro and Ayuso being quite aggressive during that. That was kind of fun to see. You don't get to see these guys ride against each other up till this point. Next year we'll see it again with Ayuso in a different team. But Del Toro racing against Pogačar or against Ayuso, that's just so fun to see. And you just never know what to expect.
It's like a script, right? You couldn't write it any better than that, could you? Del Toro and Ayuso going against each other. But yeah, I mean, Ayuso a little trek in, for 5 years, isn't it, a deal? I mean...
Yeah. Maybe there is something to be said about that before we dive into the Euros preview. has Ayuso not learned his lesson with long-term contracts? He has negotiated his way out of a very long-term contract with UAE just to get into another long-term contract with Trek. I don't
think
see how that makes sense.
His bridges were burnt at UAE, weren't they, really? I mean, the way he acted, it was his own fault. Let's be real there, I think. He needs to be more of a team player, and he just couldn't accept it. It's a bit harsh to say it like that, but it has to be said, you know? And then that little Trek, I mean, he's at least going to be, you'd expect him to be guaranteed leader in the Tour. But it's very harsh in Skelmos, isn't it?
Yeah, Skelmos already said that he wasn't made aware, and he's already kind of concerned. So obviously, inner team communication's kind of broken down there. Like, you have a current leader in Skelmos, and you don't tell him that Ayuso's coming, and he has to find out through the media. Like, come on, guys, that's like first level stuff. And then what's most striking to me is the 5-year contract. Why that long? Maybe long-term contracts don't mean as much as they used to in modern cycling.
Well, I mean, you can just buy out of them, can't you? Nowadays, I mean, you've seen it with Remco, obviously, ending his early.
I mean, he only had 1 year left on his. Yeah. But with the usage, there was a lot of years left on it, and I haven't heard anything of a buyout. I think it was a mutual disbanding of the contract without a buyout. But still, like, what's the value of a contract these days if that can happen, and then going to a 5-year contract? It doesn't.
It's the same in all of sports now, really. Actually, that kind of problem with long contracts, you see it in football all the time. Obviously, for the viewers, obviously, you may have heard of Alexander Isak. He went on strike basically and protested when he signed like a 5-year deal, and then he got his way. I mean, what's stopping a rider from doing that in cycling? You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the end, they're employees of a company, and if an employee wants to leave, you have to let them. So, like, the law is completely on the rider's side of being able to break that contract. But yeah, you also just don't want an employee. Yeah, exactly. You just also don't want an employee for your team that doesn't want to be there. You know, like, that's just going to ruin your whole culture inside of your team, and just going to be a rotten apple. And with the wage that Ayuso probably had at UAE, you kind of want some return on that as well. So probably better to just.
It's going to be interesting to see how that kind of develops as well. You know, Bram, with Israel Premier Tech in the coming off season, with what happens with that situation, that's a whole nother rabbit hole, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a big rabbit hole to get into. Obviously, Derek G wants to leave the team. It's been completely quiet around that, about what's happening. There's been some rumors about where he's going, but obviously Israel Premier Tech doesn't want to let him go. They want to keep him to his contract. I don't see how that's gonna work out, because you can't exactly force that to happen. And then again, like, what does Israel Premier Tech have a full roster for next year? Currently, it's not looking incredibly likely.
Would even have a team? That's a big
that's another question entirely that I don't want to get into. Yeah. But I think from the looks of it, they only have 20 to 22 riders signed for next year. No, that's a problem in itself, because you can't do a full race calendar at World Tour level with that type of roster. It's just not possible. So, but then again,
relying on Chris Froome in 2026. I mean, who wants to be relying on him in 2026? I certainly wouldn't. So,
I mean, nobody should have been relying on him in 2024, 2025 either, or 2023 for that matter. Yeah, I guess they haven't, but they've had to pay him a nice little wage. But we're getting way off topic here.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, it's a nice little rabbit hole. But yeah, we're here for the European Championship preview. And it's a 10th edition, I believe.
Can you name all 10? I can't name all 10.
I can, because I have the list in front of me.
Preparation.
Well, I have the list right in front of me. So the last one was Tim Merlier. Before that, we had Laporte. Then we had
there.
Fabio Jakobsen. Oh, you were there, exactly.
Yeah, I was
in
there. Yeah, I
Limburg.
remember in Hassel, wasn't it? It was actually quite a nice experience for if many of the viewers want to go and see a race, just go out and see it, really, I would say. It's a lovely experience, isn't it? I'm sure you've been to many over the years. So.
It's actually been a while since I've been to the road side of one. I think Ronde van Vlaanderen is one I try to do every year, but usually very early on start because that's kind of when they pass my town. But I get to go to races not even close to enough. Yeah, going a little bit further down my list. I'm not going to go through all 10, but anyway, Sonny Colbrelli is one that I want to talk about because that's a year that who got second place in that edition.
Evenepoel.
Do you remember? Evenepoel, yeah.
See?
Yeah. Evenepoel is only missing one jersey in his wardrobe of championships jerseys, and that's the European road kit. He's won everything else, the Olympics, national titles. Today, he won the European championship for time trial for the second time. And then, of course, he's won the rainbow kit as well on multiple occasions. So, European road race, he's saying it's actually his biggest goal of the season next to the Tour. Some people are calling that bullshit after what happened at the Worlds, and he's just coping. But honestly, considering the kind of championship rider that Evenepoel has kind of built him out to be, I wouldn't be surprised if this was actually true.
I mean, it's Evenepoel, isn't it? That's his attitude.
I think he just wants to win
to be the best.
Everything.
And yeah, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that at all. And that's a winning mentality.
But like really going for these championships, and like nobody else is thinking of these. Everyone's like, oh, maybe win
Pogačar.
all 5. No, I don't think so.
I mean, Pogačar, there's only a reason why Pogačar is lining up here. To win it, and that's what he hasn't won yet.
Sure,
so.
But he's not had this mindset of, oh, I want to win every single championship because he skipped out of the Olympics, for example, and like the TTs, winning all of those, it's going to be really tough for him as long as Evenepoel's around and is in the kind of time trial form that he's in. But yeah, nobody else is really trying to go for all of these jerseys. Everyone's like kind of thinking of, monuments and stuff, but it doesn't feel like, and I guess that's what Pogačar is more thinking about, winning all 5 monuments. But Evenepoel seems to be on a jersey collecting journey, if you wish.
Well, I mean, if Pogačar wasn't there, I mean, really, Evenepoel could also maybe chase all 5 monuments.
Oh, I would love to see him try that.
I don't know. That's.
He said that he wants to try later in his career, right after he's done.
I think he would have done the Ronde van Vlaanderen this. He would have done Ronde this year. No, if they didn't have the B post accident. I remember lots of people saying he would actually do it.
Yeah. I heard rumors as well that he was considering it, but I think with Red Bull, probably it's not happening. Although Red Bull have said that they want to utilize him for the one-day races as well because he's booked his biggest successes in those. I would really like to see that happen. It's like Evenepoel bossing it on Paterberg or whatever. Although I don't know if that's a good climb for him. But yeah, it'd be nice to get someone of the similar type of rider to Pogačar in those races because right now it's just Pogačar against the classics guys, and Pogačar is kind of.
Van der Poel is outsider. Van der Poel is right there. Van der Poel has him in quite a few areas.
But Van der Poel is the typical classics rider. Like if you think of what's the perfect classics rider, it's Van der Poel. And then Pogačar comes in and like classics rider, Grand Tour rider, just everything. So like there's nobody similar to Pogačar's type of rider in the rest of the field of the Ronde van Vlaanderen. Evenepoel would be a little bit similar to Pogačar.
So it's a little bit, not too much, because then Otherwise, you're going to look too much like you're propaganding.
Well, that's for spring. We're still here for the Euros, and we've now gone through a whole other loophole of spring classics. We're very much excited about spring classics. Please forgive us. Yeah, the course. What do you think of the course? It's bloody tough, isn't it?
It's tough, yeah. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, when Pogačar is lining up, you can say Pogačar goes from Narnia, basically. So that means from far. I mean, but it is also, I mean, Evenepoel could also look at that parcours and see opportunities where he can possibly escape. I mean, the viewers have watched, obviously, Drôme-Ardèche and the Drum Classic over the years is similar to that nature, really, isn't it? Well, it is similar because it's the same climbs. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really tough parcours. Not as tough as the Worlds by any means. It's still 3,300 meters of elevation gain. And I think something weird about this course is that there's this pretty significant climb straight out of the gates. Like kilometer 0, big climb. I think they climb around 300 meters of elevation from kilometer 0. Like that's pretty unusual course design, and that seems to set up a pretty strong breakaway getting away.
I mean,
is that going to be a factor?
Breakaways in these type of races don't really stand a chance, though, do they? I don't think when is the last time someone from a breakaway has probably done something? I can't recall really off the top of my head. So, but
No.
It's nice to give them an opportunity, and it's also an opportunity to test the legs straight away. If you have bad legs, bye, you're out the back, isn't it? Really, I mean,
yeah, but that's also the weird thing.
The middle of the course.
Yeah, but it's kind of the weird thing with the climb right at the start. Like a lot of riders kind of start with like some heavy legs. They don't feel as good at the start, and then they kind of get into the race. Pidcock was mentioning that on the Worlds, that he actually felt terrible at the start and kind of got into the race and then blew up and was a struggle to the end. But here you don't get that opportunity. Like if you're not feeling well straight from the start, you're in trouble, like real trouble.
Yeah.
Especially if it kicks off, and I'm assuming there's going to be a pretty strong breakaway. Like any country DS is looking at that and says, okay, we already got to do something from the moment the flag drops.
You'd expect it, at least. I mean, if you don't try it, then it's going to make it for a very boring race, isn't it? So,
yeah, not everyone's going to want to take Pogačar to 60Ks to go and just let him have his fun. That wouldn't be fun for any of the viewers either. Although there's always people who enjoy that sort of stuff. But let's face it, we want to see some exciting races, and not just the big Pogačar show every week. Although, enjoy the master at work as usual. But yeah,
I mean, the parcours actually. I want to go back to the parcours there, Bram. Like the middle, I'm going to call it a sandwich. You have the meat in the middle of, obviously, the Saint Romain de Lopez, and I don't know if that's my French is terrible. But yeah, I mean, free ascents of that in the middle of it, that is, if someone wanted to go early on the first ascent of it, particularly, it's going to make it very hard to control for Slovenia.
For the first ascent, that's a long way. So the top of that is around 60Ks to go. That's 140Ks, 60 from the start. So that's 140Ks to go. That's really early.
I mean, that's where you start at least opening up the taps, really. And I think on the second ascent, you'd go really, but then you have the Val d'Enfer in the middle. Isn't the Val d'Enfer? Yes, so you have the Val d'Enfer.
I mean, you have it between very frequently. I think they do it 6 times in total.
Yeah, I mean, you have to descend and then at the Val d'Enfer, then you go again. It's pretty non-stop, actually. You have only a bit of respite in between the Enfer and the Romain de Lopez. A little bit. I mean, after that, then you're in the absolute shit, basically.
Yeah, I mean, if we're just talking about Pogačar scenarios, like he can win this race from any point that he chooses to go, from my point of view. I think the most likely point where he goes is on the last ascent of the Saint-Romain de l'Or, which comes at around, what is that, around 70 Ks to go. That seems like a comfortable spot for him.
And then there's 3 more launch pads after that, isn't it? I mean,
there's 4 more ascents of the Val d'Enfer.
3 or 4 more. And then the Val d'Enfer actually 14.4% peaks. I mean, that's prime Pogačar territory there.
Yeah, but I think by that time he's clear, or a very heavily reduced group. It's not just all about Pogačar. Of course, Evenepoel's coming into this with some sense of vengeance on his mind, probably. A lot of people are expecting him to try and be out for revenge. Hopefully his saddle's attached properly this time, and he's double checked it. But yeah, any other names? I named some at the start, but any other contenders that you want to mention?
Obviously, Vingegaard is interesting. He doesn't like really competing in one-day races, and I think it's the first time since 2022 that both of them are competing in a one-day race together. Lombardia, I think it was. Maybe.
Yeah, that was the last one. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a long way back, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we all know Vingegaard is not a one-day rider at all. He's really dodging these. Sometimes he sprinkles one in, but one against Pogačar, like you said, it's the first time since 2022, and even before that, it very rarely happened. Sometimes Giro dell'Emilia, and yeah, it's really interesting to see him line up here. He also basically never raced for the Danish national team before, at least not when he was a pro. So it's also going to be interesting to see how that dynamic is going to be. Him riding in a non-FISMA team.
Him and Skelmos on the same team is actually nice, actually. I like that duo.
And then you have Pedersen there as well, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's too hard for Pedersen. But obviously, we've written off Pedersen. It's like on the borderline, isn't it? It is borderline.
I think it's probably too hard for him to win, but not hard enough for him not to have an impact on the race. Yeah. I don't think he's lining up here with no ambition at all. That he definitely wants to have an impact. I think he and Skelmos get along really well. They ride for the same team. That I think he wants to do an effort and try to put Skelmos in the best possible spot. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Pedersen moves going up.
I wouldn't be surprised as well, really. It's Pedersen, isn't it? He always loves to just do some crazy stuff in one-day races, and then you sit there questioning, why have you done that? But yeah, the French team actually is very good. Baudin is a nice little, like an underdog kind of rider, I'd say. Romain Grégoire, Tour Britain, dominated there, really. Was brilliant on the climbs, and I think these climbs are right up his street, really. As the type of rider with the kick he has on him is a wonderful kick. Literally, I think it may be. It's not far off Pogačar's. It is on the short, steep ones. It's not that far, but I think it's more on the Evenepoel level kind of kick.
Yeah, I mean in the Tour of Britain, we saw. Yeah, we saw they were pretty close, and then on the last hilly stage or mountainous stage, there was a reversal. But I think the French team is really looking strong, kind of similar to how it was in Rwanda. You have Sivakov there, you have Seixas there as well. Kind of similar names to what we saw last week. But yeah, I think Grégoire is definitely their best shot. But also Seixas, how impressive was he in the Worlds for a guy of his age?
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, the talents get younger and younger, and how good they come out of out of development teams. It's just berserk, really. Seriously. He
finished 13th in, I believe, the same group as Pidcock and Roglic. Yeah, they were in the same group. There's 2 seconds in between them. That's incredible.
With
He's
the
19 years old.
expectations. It's
Yeah.
insane, really.
Yeah, and also like ahead of Sivakov, who I think was probably their best bet on this parkour, but there's Sexas. So yeah, at 19 years old, it's just insane to already have achieved that. I mean, achieved. It's just they're impressive results. It's not an achievement in itself, but this just promises so much for the future to be able to do that on that parkour. And I think even on this parkour, he's not without any chances.
Yeah, you can definitely do something if like a moving opportunity goes. You know what I kind of mean? But yeah, I mean the expectations on his young shoulders, the weight of and hope of French cycling, really, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people would fold in at that pressure. So it's a massive respect to him, and I think he will go right to the very top and compete for GCs in the biggest races. Obviously, the Tour, that is going to be the one for decathlon, isn't it? That's the big goal. I think they want to win it by 2028 or 2029, wasn't it?
Yeah, and well, I think with Sexos, it is potentially possible. It's way too early to say.
It is too early to say, but
like what he's showing right now, it shows promise, and of course that's going to get the French excited. Exactly. We're talking about a big championship, so I think we need to mention a big championship rider, Tom Squeens, who's just able to do these insane performances on these big championships, Worlds, Olympics. He just turns up for these. 2025 has actually been quite a. I think he flew a little bit below people's expectations after what he did in 2024. Maybe I'm projecting, but then on the Worlds he just shows up as well. Like fucking hell, and now he's lining up here. So this is probably a course that is more to his abilities as well than what the Worlds was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still in disbelief how we got that World result. Really, I mean, we both wrote him off, really, didn't we? And didn't even mention him as like a rider who would come in the top 10 in our preview for the World. But that's what people make the same mistake all the time with him. Always write him off, and he will always show up for top 10 in a major race. So, in what a rider he is.
Exactly. So I expect him to be up here as well. Potentially even for top 5 again. He got top 5 in the Worlds on a course that I consider him to be pretty like that was just impossible. And then he just goes in and does a top 5. So definitely one to write down as well for the Euros. And I kind of want to go to a pretty unexpected name, perhaps, or maybe it is expected for you. I don't know. But Tibor Del Grosso. What do you expect from Tibor Del Grosso?
Really have any expectations for him? I think it's a bit too hard for him. But that Dutch team, I mean, it's very young, isn't it? And then you have the old guard of Van Baarle, obviously.
He crashed today, so we'll see how that affects him if they need to replace him or not.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting to see. Dan Hu, I mean, that's going to be nice for the positioning and things like that. Of Del Grosso, I mean, you'd expect Del Grosso to be the leader in the team.
I mean, Van Baarle as well, but considering what happened today in the TT,
crash, yeah.
I don't expect him to lead. But Del Grosso, he's just shown these flashes of brilliance this year as well. The climbs are in the second or the last part of the circuit are kind of perfect for him, I would say. They're kind of that also gold race distance or length of climbs. Same with the gradients. I think it's just really good for him, and I think we're going to see him in the race in a quite active role.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I mean, and then you go on to the Portuguese team. That's a nice team actually as well. The 4 riders they bring in there: Almeida, Rui Costa, obviously, Alfonso Aurelio, top 10. Actually came 9th in the world, and then
That's
Antonio
incredible.
Morgado. Yeah, I mean, he has potential. Aurelio, and they did the Sean Kelly there.
Portuguese names, man. But yeah, Eulalia, I don't think anyone. I didn't even consider him for a top 10 at the Worlds, and maybe I'm just putting myself out there as
I
someone
don't
who
think
doesn't know
anyone
what they're
did. I
talking
mean,
about.
I
But
only
I don't
recently
think he
seen
had the
about him until
results. Yeah, I don't think he had the results to like say, okay, this is a guy who's going to top 10 the Worlds. Like, no, that just came out of
there
nowhere, in my
was
opinion.
there was only the attacks in Tour Down Under. I mean, that's when I first started knowing about him actually. But
I mean,
before
he
in
finished 4th on the tumble stage in Tour of Britain that Remco won.
yeah, he was also not bad in the
That's a
Tour
good
of Britain
result.
actually. Yeah.
But
But,
to then say he's going to top 10 the Worlds or even be able to finish the Worlds, and only 30 riders did, so it's already incredible. Yeah, I think it's a really strong team. No weak riders in that team, although it's the Euros. There's not going to be weak riders here, or not many. And then you have the Spanish team with Juan Ayuso. What do we expect from them?
no idea. And it confuses me every single time I watch Ayuso because he can do one thing, which you think he's going to do, then he'll just do the complete opposite. So I have no idea. I mean, the team's nice for Spain, actually.
You also have Pablo Torres there.
That's a nice one. Ivan Romeo as well, obviously, if he gets in a nice break. Berardi of Confarmers are actually not bad for these type of races, actually, as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a super strong team.
You have the young Boloki as well, or Blocky.
Yeah,
20 years of
exactly.
age.
Like they're bringing a really nice mix of, and actually a lot of young talent, and then you have an Arietta there as well. So it's actually a really nice group of young riders. I think is Berardi the oldest one there with 27 years old.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of incredible. Yeah.
He could be nice, actually. I actually think he could get a nice result. Berardi coming out the Luxembourg Tour. I mean, he's a type of guy on, I think, Pro Cycling Manager, actually, who has a nice kick on him.
All right.
I mean, I'd like him there. And then also I see on the Swedish national team, actually, they're on the provisional
That's a really strong
list.
team as well.
Söderqvist is brought in provisionally. And then obviously you have
right.
Jakob Eriksson and Lucas Eriksson, who are, that's obviously provisional. So obviously I think they're only going to get 2 riders, I think. So
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, you can't finish a podcast without talking about some Scandinavians, can you? So that's checked off for this one. If our viewers are waiting for
Söderqvist is
it,
in some nice form, actually. So I think if he's actually starting there, which if he's in the provisional one, winning the under 23 ITT, so
didn't
you
he?
just
Well,
like it.
no, he did get caught by Gunna today.
Yeah. So
But
the form is,
there's no shame in
that's
that, I
Ghana.
guess. Getting
And then
caught
the
by
Swiss
Gunna.
team actually as well, by the way. I think that we don't mention the Swiss team. That's a
No,
good
you
team,
have Hirschi and Schmidt. Although Schmidt was, I think he got dropped really early in the Worlds.
Jan Christian as well in this type of race is also like one of his crazy attacks he does, which is notable for.
Yeah. Yeah. There's more riders that we can list here.
Vacek.
Vacek is probably a good shout as well. Yeah.
And the Belgian
We're
team.
gonna go through the whole list?
Yeah, the Belgian team other than Evenepoel. I mean, who's the backup option?
You could say Van Gils, but I have no clue what his form is like. If you just look at the parcours, Van Gils seems to be a good option. Benoit as well, but he's had a COVID infection that kept him out of the Worlds. He's now returning for the Euros. So what's his form going to be like? But a course that is kind of similar to Amstel, or at least the shorter climbs. Benoit always does well on those. So,
He's a
in
guy
general,
with tremendously underrated classics results over the years.
Yeah. I mean,
Very
it's just because
impressive.
it's a lack of wins in them, except for Kuurne. And then, of course, Strade Bianchi. But beyond those, he's always up there, but the wins are so few. But maybe next year he's going to a different team. I think he's going to Decathlon.
He's going to Decathlon, confirmed. 3
Yeah.
years.
So maybe he gets freedom there for more results. I'm not sure. They're kind of building out their team still. But yeah, I think for this race, he should be kept an eye on. I'm not sure if he's full domestique for
Junior
Evenepoel.
Surf?
I think he's full domestiquing.
Full,
In general, if Evenepoel really says that this race is the second goal of his season, all of them are gonna they're gonna be drilled to get in line and say nobody gets in his way. Everything's on Evenepoel, because in reality, if the opponent is Pogačar, Evenepoel is the best bet.
You have to have a shared goal, and you have to go for it no matter what. Basically.
Yeah, I think if you're trying to play different cards, it's possible to do, but it's a very risky strategy for a race like this.
Mm.
All right, I think we've kind of gone through all of our names. Time for our podium predictions, and you can go first.
I'm going to be boring. Pogačar. Then I'm going to go. We haven't actually mentioned anyone from the Italian team. I'm actually going to go Scaroni. And then I'm going to go Evenepoel
in third. Okay.
And that is maybe crazy, but I'll take Scaroni because his early season form. He
that's been a while.
I know that's been a while, but he does love an early season form, and he was showing
Although
himself
he's back in form. The races
he showed himself in these type
won.
of races. Yeah.
So he's
won actually
the
Giro di Romagna, and fourth, sixth, second, and then third in the GC Arctic Race of Norway. And then in the Spanish races, some nice results. So I don't think that's too wild. I'm going to accept the second place for Scaroni. He could even win. You never know with the star that these days.
Okay, as Scaroni win would go pretty wild. Guess my turn. I'm going to place Remco Evenepoel at the top this time. Followed by Skelmos. And in third place, I'm going to put... Do I go with Ayuso again? No, I should not go with Ayuso.
It's not Ayuso's type.
I'm going to go with Romain Grégoire and no Pogačar on the podium.
Good. What happens to him then?
I think he partied a little bit too hard afterwards. So he's just not going to have legs.
I think a partying Pogačar would still somehow win.
Maybe. Yeah. But we get to be a little bit crazy sometimes and say Pogačar's not going to podium this. It's probably not true, but my propaganda machine has to work sometimes.
You'd hope so.
Cool. Well, Ethan, we kind of went through this for a bit longer than I had expected, although we're kind of in the ballpark, so that's great. And yeah, if people want to like and subscribe to our channel, that'd be amazing. We launched a WhatsApp service a couple of, I think last week, where people can get updates for the news coming out of domestiquecycling.com. So if people want to sign up for that, it's in the description below. And yeah, leave a comment on who your podium is going to be. We'd love to know how wrong we are, or congratulate the people who actually do get it right. That'd be awesome. But yeah, with all that, thanks for listening and watching, and talk to you guys next week for the review.
Bye-bye.